The mount position is one of the most iconic positions in jiu-jitsu, but a lot of people actually struggle controlling it versus a much larger, stronger opponent. So I'm gonna give you guys these small details that make it extremely easy to control.
There's three main escapes you have to worry about. There's the bridge and roll, where he kind of grabs my arm and rolls me. An elbow escape, where he turns on his side and kind of forces the half guard. And then there's the kipping escape, where he kind of frames both hands on the hips, bridges me up a bit, and then kips and works his leg in, often getting to single leg X. The base defense to all three of these is gonna be the exact same positioning, which makes it really easy. For him to elbow escape, one shoulder blade always has to come up off the mat. If he stays flat and he pushes on the leg to try to elbow escape, he can never fully do it until this comes up. So our main tool to keep the shoulder blades flat is always gonna be our chest connection. I'm gonna talk about the arm positioning in a second, but I just want to show if I expand my chest, almost like I'm pinching a pencil between my shoulder blades, and I drop my chest on him, if he turns to his left, then I use my chest weight to keep the shoulder blade pinned. If he was to turn to the right, I can steer my chest weight to this side. So you kind of move your chest around to keep the shoulder blades pinned. The second arm, I'm gonna kind of cross face with. Now I'm not doing like a really hard, heavy cross face with this. It's more just here for balance and positioning, and it helps block the kipping escape later. Prevent the roll, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my left hand out wide here. I use the chest pressure to prevent the elbow escape. And then from here, it's impossible to roll me to this side because I have the hand post. And then if he was to try to roll me to the other side, I'm so balanced to the left side, it's really hard to bridge me to that side. And even more, I can open the knees up wide like this, so that if he does try to bridge and roll me to the left side, my knees catch balance here, right? So with all of those things together, it's very hard to get the bridge and roll. As far as the kipping goes, as long as, again, you start with that really low positioning, my shoulder can go under his chin here. Furthermore, this hand post, anytime I need, I can slide it up a little bit higher, and it helps drive my hip towards his hip. So now if he starts bridging up to try to push up towards that, this shoulder goes directly into his jaw. He can't really progress out of this because I have this pressure preventing me from sliding up. The main thing for preemptively setting all this is that you have to get your chest really low. If you start in this position and you're here, this seems like the same thing, but it's absolutely not. Because from this positioning, my chest cannot steer where his chest goes because my chest is too high. I want to slide my chest down really low first. When I go down here, like this, see I kind of round my back and connect the chest first. Now you see my head is even below where his head is. If you're up here, it's gonna be much easier for him to work on your hips, elbow escape, start kipping and all that. Sometimes before you can set the position well, they end up bridging and somehow they get on their side a little bit here. Once you're in this position, it's hard to keep the knee down here because there's the danger of the elbow escape with this leg coming over and pulling your leg in. So if they do get a good side position, it's pretty safe to bring this heel up and kind of shoot your left knee under their shoulder here, because when they bring their shoulder up, this knee will always be able to come under because it's up. From here, their main escape is to push on your leg and try to get back in half guard. The first thing I look to do is get control of this sleeve. Once I get this, I can feed it to the other hand, and now I grab the elbow and sometimes even get underneath here, but I want to like pull them back to flat. Once I get them back to flat, I can start dropping my chest weight down again, and now I can come back into the same style of control mechanics. Once I get centered, or even if they get on their side, I generally want to keep the flat of my instep on the mat. When you're like this, it's easier for them to use this leg to hook to drag your foot into half guard. But when you're flush, even if they get on their side and they use that foot over to pull the foot in, it's much harder to drag because there's no space, and it buys you more time to try to peel this up and pull them back in.